In a remote location near a massive waterfall, a humanoid alien observes a starship departing the planet. The alien retrieves a pot containing a black liquid and drinks it. The liquid transforms its skin, dissolving its DNA and causing the alien to fall into the water. The current carries away the remains. Fast forward to 2089, where archaeologists Elizabeth and Charlie discover ancient paintings in a Scottish cave, matching similar artworks found worldwide from different cultures. 2 years later, the starship Prometheus, manned by a crew in cryosleep, is en route to a distant destination. David, a robot, manages the ship and spends his free time exploring human activities. The crew includes scientists and mercenaries. Upon reaching their destination, the crew, led by Captain Janik, wakes up. They recover from cryosleep, indulge in food, and even set up a Christmas tree. Meredith, overseeing the mission, finds the festive gesture unnecessary. The mission brief is delivered through a holographic recording from Peter, the deceased CEO of Wayland Corporation, funding the expedition. Peter's desire to understand human origins and the afterlife led to supporting the mission proposed by Elizabeth and Charlie. The doctors present their theory about ancient paintings depicting a star map that could lead to a habitable planet. They believe the creators are aliens called engineers, who may have played a role in human creation. However, the crew remains skeptical about this theory. Shortly after, Meredith summons the doctors to her private quarters, equipped with a medical pod and life support. She expresses skepticism about the significance of the cave paintings, emphasizing her responsibility to ensure the expedition isn't a waste of money. Despite the doctor's potential discovery of life, Meredith prohibits contact. Confused by the mission's purpose, the crew decides to land on the planet. As they descend, David, designed to blend in with humans, wears a suit unnecessarily. The crew identifies a dome-like structure with potential signs of artificial lines on the ground. They explore the structure, finding it hollow. Geologist Fifield sends probes to map the area, revealing a breathable environment inside. Assuming alien terraforming, crew members remove their helmets. David activates a wall with strange goo and symbols, revealing a hologram of running figures. The crew follows the hologram and discovers the body of a well-preserved alien. Deciding it's too dangerous to continue, geologist Fifield and biologist Milburn opt to return to the ship. While the doctors inspect the alien's body, David opens a door to find the alien's head on the other side, remarkably preserved. The crew discovers more bodies in a room, indicating the species is extinct. The presence of worms suggests potential life. They find a monolithic statue of a humanoid head, murals on the ceiling, and stone cylinders. David observes the sweating cylinders, and one releases a black substance. While Elizabeth focuses on changing murals, David steals a cylinder, concluding that the cave is a tomb. Janik warns of an incoming storm, giving the crew 15 minutes to return to the ship. They rush out, narrowly making it back. However, Elizabeth retrieves the alien head, triggering the storm's entry into the ship. Charlie's rescue attempt fails, and they are pulled to safety by David's wires. Back at the ship, the crew decontaminates, realizing Milburn and Fifield are lost in the cave. Due to the storm, rescue is postponed until morning. They sterilize the head, discovering it's a helmet. Opening it reveals a humanoid alien head. Attempting to stimulate its brain causes an explosion. Examining a DNA sample, Elizabeth is thrilled to find it matches human DNA, confirming her theory that these aliens created humans. While the crew is unaware, David secretly updates a cryosleep pod with a mysterious occupant. Only Meredith knows about it, demanding David to reveal what the person said. David cryptically mentions they were asked to try harder before privately inspecting the capsule he brought. Inside, he discovers capsules filled with black liquid, giving him an idea. David decides to share a drink and discuss their limits with Charlie. Later, Charlie celebrates Elizabeth's DNA discovery. In the cave, Milburn and Fifield encounter a room with the black liquid and discover a reptile-type alien swimming in it. The creature attaches to Milburn's arm, and Fifield's helmet is damaged by its corrosive fluid. the alien kills Milburn. The next morning, Charlie wakes up unwell, noticing something strange in his eyes. Janek informs the crew that the storm is over, but they can't contact the scientists. While searching the cave, David stays behind, exploring a room with numerous cylinders and alien armor. He finds a chamber with cryo-sleep capsules and activates a machine showing holograms of engineers examining a star map, including Earth. David discovers a live engineer in one of the capsules. During the search, Charlie becomes increasingly ill, but he persists. After finding Milburn's body, the crew inadvertently releases the small reptile alien, and Fifield is missing. Charlie falls seriously ill, and upon returning to the ship, Meredith, armed with a flamethrower, refuses to let him aboard. In a desperate move, Charlie intentionally walks into the flames, and Elizabeth, devastated, watches. The crew is quarantined, and David runs tests on Elizabeth, revealing she's mysteriously 3 months pregnant. The fetus has an eerie shape. Elizabeth, in pain, requests surgery, but the medical pod is only calibrated for men. Desperate, she seeks Meredith's pod, asking for a cesarean, but the pod is incompatible. Elizabeth opts for extracting the foreign body, enduring excruciating pain as the machine removes the strange fetus. The alien creature emerges, attacking her until she locks it back in the pod. Meanwhile, Janek spots something strange outside the ship, discovering a mutated Fifield attacking the crew in the hangar. A fierce fight erupts, and despite bullets being ineffective against Fifield, the crew resorts to a flamethrower to defeat him. Elizabeth, seeking medicine, discovers Peter alive in the infirmary. Peter insists on confronting the engineer for answers, dismissing warnings of the planet's danger. Determined, Elizabeth, in pain, suits up to return to the cave. Janek, finding her, suggests the planet isn't the engineer's home and might be a military facility where the lethal black liquid was developed. While he contemplates returning to Earth, Elizabeth convinces him to wait until she contacts the living engineer. Meanwhile, Peter and the crew, including Meredith, prepare to leave. In the cave, David instructs the crew to remove their helmets, revealing the disease isn't airborne. He hints at being responsible for putting the black liquid in Charlie's drink. As they enter a new room with numerous cylinders, David identifies it as a starship's cargo hold. Activating the machine, he explains the engineers were bound for Earth but lost control of the deadly black liquid. The crew awakens the last engineer, and Peter attempts to communicate through philosophical questions. However, the engineer violently kills Peter with David's head. Elizabeth tries to ask questions, but a mercenary silences her. The engineer then eliminates the mercenaries. Seeing Peter's death through David's eyes, Meredith orders Janek to prepare for departure. As the engineer activates its ship to head for Earth, Elizabeth urgently contacts Janek, warning that the black liquid will reach Earth, endangering humanity. Despite the ship's limitations, Janek decides to intercept the engineer. Ignoring Meredith's objections, he orders the ion propulsion, turning Prometheus into a projectile. Both ships crash, preventing the engineer from escaping, but they plummet to the ground. Meredith dies during the crash, while Elizabeth narrowly survives by seeking cover. Inside Prometheus, she hears noises and discovers her alien offspring, now grown to a large size. David warns her to run, but before she can escape, the engineer confronts her. Elizabeth releases her alien offspring, which attacks and subdues the engineer with an ovipositor. Having a breakdown outside the ship, Elizabeth is contacted by David, who reveals more engineer ships underground. She rescues David's head and body and requests to go to the engineer's home planet instead of returning to Earth. David agrees, and before leaving, Elizabeth sends a message to Earth explaining the events. Inside the dead engineer, a black alien emerges, setting the stage for the events that follow Ripley's tale.